Hello, it is Latanya Price here with another blog post for today. The topic that I wanted to come to you today is actually kind of stemming from my third book that I've written, which is called Focus Faith. And I actually wanted to really start, even of course, with that book. I also have been kind of getting feedback from people and just hearing different things that are kind of some pressing issues with faith. So I do plan to do some more blogging, some more blog videos based on that feedback, but also just really start helping people kind of with those pressing issues about their faith. So I do have a lot of things that are coming up for that, but I really wanted to kind of just pull out just the overall how to focus your faith, because I know when I got some feedback about different things, it was interesting really to start really hearing what people felt were the pressing issues concerning faith. And so this is just really, like I said, like more of like that opening gate, so to speak, because I know that when I wrote the book Focus Faith, I really wanted to kind of help in that general aspect of ensuring that people are strengthening their faith. They're really are considering how to keep their faith strong, how they can continue to trust God, continue to believe God, despite what it looks like, despite what's going on around them, what's going on inside of them. I wanted to make sure these are some ways that you can definitely ensure that you're keeping your faith not just guarded but also strengthened, because we know that when it comes to trusting and believing in God, it's a constant kind of growth process. It necessarily shouldn't really be declining. In all seriousness, it really should be something that is increasing and that is actually getting stronger as we go throughout life. So one of the things that I do mention, there's actually three things I mentioned. I call them the little gateways, basically. And probably many of you, being Christians, if you kind of been in the church and maybe you've heard sermons like this, but I pretty much have just three gateways that I kind of highlight in that book. And so the first one is guarding our eyes. And like I was just kind of mentioning, we can't pay attention to what we're seeing. I know that's so hard because a lot of times what we see is so not in alignment to what we really desire. And that can be such a huge distraction when it comes to our faith. We really will feel like everything is crumbling because everything is so dark, everything is so bleak, everything is so just not matching up with what we thought it would be like. And so when I was thinking about, making sure that we stop focusing on so much of what we see and how to guard against that, that includes when we watch whatever we watch on television, whatever we kind of look at videos and certain stuff on Facebook and all these social media sites. What are we really looking at? How do we make sure what we see is positive? And so, and like I said, I don't necessarily knock a lot of the television shows. I know a lot of people like to watch television as a leisure, just kind of way to distress for the day after getting off of work or however that may be. But I definitely encourage anyone that is definitely trying to ensure that their faith continues to increase in strength, to definitely maybe not so much watch everything that be on TV, everything that comes across your news feed on those social media sites. Definitely want to take some time and really just start to kind of envision certain things. Maybe, if you need to turn off the TV and just start writing down goals or writing down possibilities that you would like to kind of, research, go start doing things that actually, in your line of sight, that is, especially your physical sight, that actually kind of aligns with what you feel you have faith about, because of course we're trusting God, we're believing God for something. And so we're having this hope for something. So why not envision that hope and actually start kind of piecing together what you need to do to make it sort of manifest. And I'm not saying, helping God or anything like that, because we all know that God doesn't necessarily need our help. But the one thing that he does need our faith. And he does need that to, be strong and to really trust in him. And we have to stay positive about that. And so many times we just look at everything and it really is a distraction. But guarding our eyes, making sure that what we see is positive, it is encouraging, it is empowering, as well as the other gate is our ear gate, what we listen to. When we have so much negativity bombarding us, and when I say it can be anything from gossip, it can be anything from music that really, is disrespectful and real hateful and just really negative. When it comes to just all kind of garbage, somebody is just dumping their whole bad day onto you, or they just come to you with their biggest pity party ever. And you allow that to just kind of enter your ear gate. And so we need to guard our ears. We need to guard to what we listen to. That's, also with the whole, when we watch TV, it goes along with the ear gate as well, because we have to realize that what we listen to really does stimulate a lot of our mind. What we see and what we hear, we all know some people are, the visual learners and all that, and some really do well with just listening and all of that. But we also know that, for many people, what they hear don't really influence them, but for some people it does. And then sometimes when you think it didn't influence you, all of a sudden something shifts and you're like, wait, what just happened? And so it was probably possibly something that you heard and it triggered something for you. And so always be mindful of what you're listening to. A lot of people, some people don't always like listening to gospel music all the time. I understand. That's cool, but some people, don't try to, balance it out with something that's real harsh. Definitely try to keep it aligned, with something that is still positive. Maybe you like classical music. Maybe you like just something that's instrumental. Maybe you like something that's just easy and soothing, if it's jazz or, just something that is going to be soothing. And it's along the lines of gospel, or it's along the lines of something that is positive, basically. So guard your ears. The final thing and the third thing is guarding our mouths. And so this is one gate that I definitely feel is just as powerful, because we know that what comes out of our mouths is so important, because we know that life and death lies in the power of our tongue. And we know that, what's inside of a man's heart is actually, what eventually comes out. And so with that, we can't speak negativity. We can't speak, death, basically. We don't want to reap those things, because as we speak those things, the other half of that, pretty much that statement or that scripture is that whatever we speak basically is what we'll reap. And so, if we're satisfied with gleaning on some really harsh vegetables or bad and rotten things, then you just keep speaking your negativity. If you want stuff that's rotten all the time and don't really nourish your body, be my guest. But as for me, and hopefully for majority of you want to speak those positive things. You want to speak those encouraging things. And you want to do that because you want to be able to reap that harvest that is the good harvest, the ripe fruit, the good fruits, those things that you can actually feed on, and it's actually nourishing to the body and the mind and the spirit. So definitely keep that in mind when you start thinking about those things that you speak. If you have to write down affirmations, if you have to write scriptures. I remember when I was young, but I just got out of college and I just started a really good job with a good company, basically. And I bought my first home. I was single. But I remember when I moved into that home, the first thing I did, I, definitely prayed in the home, but I also wrote down scriptures on, typed them out, printed them off, cut them out, and I just taped them on different areas in the house. And the reason I did this was because I wanted to ensure, especially at that point in time, like I said, I just got out of college, I was young, I started a great job, and I know I needed to still focus on God and really grow in my faith and in my relationship with God. I did that because I wanted to ensure that what I was seeing and what I was reading, and then me saying those scriptures, helped to really just give me that strength. It helped to really guard my heart and my mind in order for me to know that God is with me, God is for me, He wants the best for me, and He can protect me. And so that was just what I did. But that's just an idea. You definitely want to speak those things that are positive, that are just empowering. Your authority that you have over your life. We all know that, yes, our life is truly controlled by God. However, we still have authority. He's given us the ability to speak those things as though they were. He's given us that ability to really just encourage others and even ourselves. We oftentimes are so easily able to encourage somebody else with the words that we speak, but sometimes we can't even sit in front of a mirror and do the exact same thing to ourselves. We can't just sit down and just have that heart to heart encouragement even to ourselves. And so I definitely encourage you to always remember that you can have that same power and just speak to yourself. Because guess what? When you speak it and it's positive, guess what? You hear it. And I know a lot of times, even with thoughts that we have, sometimes we need to speak those thoughts. When they're positive, say them out loud. So that way your ears also hears it. And so those are the 3 gates that I just wanted to discuss. That was the eye gate, ear gate, and your mouth gate. And these are really essential to making sure your faith is focused. It's focused on God. You're not focused on the material things. You're not focusing on, although those are like the byproduct of the blessings that comes from God. But, we know there's so much more to God than just the material things that we can physically touch. The real treasures are those things that we can't touch. And so we want to make sure we're staying focused. And so guard your eyes, guard your ears. Make sure you're speaking those positive affirmations and those empowering and encouraging words to yourself, to others. And just, make sure you are focusing your faith. Make sure it's daily increasing in strength and not decreasing. That's it for now. Continue to give your faith life. Until next time, God bless.